What's really fascinating about the Biden documents being found now at a second location and his aides turning them over to the National Archives is the right wing, despite it not really being the reality, is running with the narrative that the left isn't talking about this or is ignoring it, or somehow the Biden story is the same and thus should prevent Trump from being held accountable with his much more severe situation with the documents. And it's interesting because at least all of the different outlets that I've seen content about this from that you would say are sort of more liberal, everyone's talking about it and just saying, hold the proper people accountable if necessary, investigate it. And Merrick Garland just appointed a special counsel to look into the Biden document situation. And so, as you'll see here from Lindsey Graham, there's a false narrative to make the Fox News audience angry being put out there by people like Lindsey Graham, that this is not being talked about by liberal media and it's to protect Biden.
Do that, it just reinforces the narrative that the media, by the way, you can't find this story anywhere really but on Fox. Morning, noon, and night, we heard about the raid on Mar-a-Lago and all kind of stuff about the classified information in the hands of President Trump and his team. You can't even find this on most networks. So
why is he asserting that? I've been watching multiple different networks' coverage of this, and what's very interesting, as Mediaite noted when they uploaded this clip of Lindsey Graham, CNN, the day that this story broke, covered it more than Fox News did. On the day that it was released, CNN was covering it more, which would be one of the other sources he's talking about. And CBS is another kind of mainstream, the right would call it a liberal network, is the network that broke the story. So it's just so incorrect. Here's another moment here from Lindsey Graham. This is shortly before Merrick Garland did exactly what Lindsey Graham is saying should be done.
If there's not a special counsel appointed to find out how this happened with President Biden regarding classified information, there is going to be a lot of it will hurt the country. Garland, if you're listening, if you thought it was necessary, Attorney General, to appoint a special counsel regarding President Trump, then you need to do the exact same thing regarding President Biden when it comes to handling.
So as we reported on in a previous segment, Merrick Garland did appoint a special counsel to look into these documents that Biden had from his time as vice president, the most recent being at his Delaware residence. And good, I mean, look into, investigate it. Now, the justification for the actions they're pushing for is this is the same as Trump. It's not the same. It's not the same. Trump was asked time and time again to turn over documents, and he did not, and he seemingly was knowingly obstructing that process. So very, very different than Biden's aides coming across the documents and saying, National Archives, here you go. But I'll say once again, important stuff, handling classified material, this important sensitive material properly. So if it was not, and wrongdoing is proven, then absolutely make it happen, Captain. Trump wrote saying Merrick Garland has to immediately end special counsel investigation into anything related to me because I did everything right, and appoint a special counsel to investigate Joe Biden, who hates Biden as much as Jack Smith hates me. So how that makes sense in his brain, I don't know, that there shouldn't be a special counsel looking into his situation, which is much more severe because it was pretty obvious that he was obstructing the process, but should look into the Biden document situation. Just look into them both and follow the facts. Now, what's interesting about this whole ordeal is it really does reveal to you the difference in right-wing versus left-wing media. And it's not to say that left-wing media doesn't have huge flaws and doesn't make huge mistakes. Absolutely, they do. But at least is more honest on a story like this. Because right-wing media, right when the Mar-a-Lago story broke, they jumped into action saying that this is all an attack on Trump, this is not justified, it's all horrible, terrible. And didn't even take time to look into the facts to make a decision like that. Just right when the story broke, boom, it's all terrible, Trump's not in the wrong, things are being planted. Whereas left-wing media took the Trump story seriously And for the most part, all of the mainstream outlets that you would tune into that would be called more liberal are taking the Biden story seriously. Also making the distinction that the Trump document situation is very different from the Biden one, and the Trump one seems much more severe, but not ignoring it and taking it seriously. And that shows you a huge honesty distinction between right-wing and left-wing media. Left-wing media has tons of problems, absolutely, but does better in situations like this. Let me know what you think. Luke P. Beasley on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get a full extra show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there's a link in the description.